Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys, taking a look at our tanker stocks. We didn't do a video on Friday, so we will cover Friday's action when applicable. The big story here, and most of these names, is going to be hourly time frames. On the daily time frame for TK, and this is where we're going to start, what I'm noticing is an overall declining volume on all candlesticks, which is good for the bears in the sense that we're having declining volume against our EMA 26. Bad for the bulls in the sense that we had a strong day-to-day candle-wise, relatively low volume. So what that tells me is that there's a lack of overall interest on the part of the greater market as to do with this TK upside move. In addition, we have EMA 26 to contend with on the daily time frame. What's really key is actually going to be on the 4-hour and the hourly time frame. The 4-hour because it gives us context and it gives us a basis of support, and on the hourly time frame because we're really going to focus on the trends that we're seeing develop in here. So on the 4-hour time frame, we have some support down at 316 and 284, and if we follow this hourly time frame, we are heading in that direction. And we can see that we've got pretty consistent lower highs and lower lows, and we just now have the option of changing the trend. There's our low at 340 support, and right above there you can see that we've actually just ever so slightly managed to break to new hourly highs, potentially changing the trend. What is going to matter here is the follow through. Can we come down and establish a base of support over the day's low at 347, which is very, very close to a double bottom. 347 actually was a double bottom on the hourly. Can we establish a higher low on the hourly time frame above 347? That would be the best case scenario. Ultimately, we just need to be above 340 and then look for an hourly trend change to carry through what we're seeing so far as relatively low volume, weak bull moves. Rejecting from our EMA 26, it's very possible we just look for a fall right through 347 and 340 for a continuation of this hourly trend. It's really up to the bulls to prove themselves, and I would be waiting until they did that before I'd be looking at a long entry at this point. Fading interest in these tickers is reflecting its overall drop, and we're going to need to see some substantial fundamental news related items as to do with the oil issues in order to see any sort of pop-up like we have seen over here in the last couple weeks. NAT on the daily time frame, a continued tightening range. This one is relatively good as compared to TK, but again, a low volume day holding EMA 26 support. We had an inside bar bear break with no follow through, so that is good for the bulls, but we didn't really see much follow through to the upside either way. 4-hour time frame, we can see that it doesn't really matter too much in the sense that once again we are looking primarily at the hourly action, and the reason this is hourly action is because these candlesticks don't give us a real good read on the trends that are developing. It sort of just looks sideways, and we can see that it's sideways because all of our EMAs are smushing together, which says we are not trending on the 4-hour time frame. That's something that's very, very key to watch. On the 4-hour time frame, we do have a nice support level at 580. So that is an important level for us to hold. Here's our 580 low, and then we have a low from today's candlestick at 579. So 1 penny break, double bottom is in effect. 580 is a must-hold level for the bulls. On the hourly time frame, we can see how we are trending ever so slightly down, setting these lower highs and lower lows. We've got a nice base of support establishing here. And in order to change this trend, bulls need to break conclusively over 625. Anything under that is going to be a lower low, in which case we're going to look for another test at 580. If we lose 580, we're going to jump back to the 4-hour time frame and look for a base of support. And I don't really see much conclusive action in the way of support. If I had to grab a level, I guess I would take 522 as a probable target for a pretty substantial drop on the loss of 580. FRO on the daily time frame, we see continuing downside action with decreasing range in our candle size. What that can do is indicate that there is a wedge forming. If we go to the hourly time frame, we can see that it's not the case, but instead we see an hourly downtrend with 882 as our lower low, and anything under 947 is going to be a lower high, which means the lower high is the most likely scenario, as bulls are unlikely to break to the upside in a really rapid fashion. And that's really, it just comes down to what is the most likely scenario. We're never predicting with technical analysis. We're looking at is what is the most likely thing to happen, given that we've seen everything so far. We've seen lower highs and lower lows for the past 48 hours of trading. So the most likely outcome is going to be a low under 447, in which case we're going to look for hourly continuation to the downside, and then I'd look for daily support. Let's see, where would our daily support be? Well, there's no daily support for quite a while. But if we go to the daily time frame, I think we would see some 4-hour support right there at 840. Let's zoom out. We've lost our indicator. Where'd that go? 840, right about there. That works for me. So that would be a likely place for some 4-hour support. TNP on the daily time frame, a better candlestick, bigger volume than the last 2 days. So Thursday, Friday's trading action, a nice open under EMA 26, getting back above EMA 26. So clear resistance has been broken. I would be cautious on a long entry at this point because on the hourly time frame, it's very likely we are still just looking at the resistance point inside this overall hourly downtrend. And there you have it. Effectively, what we're looking for as the most likely scenario would be our lower highs like this. Until this story changes, that is what we would expect. Anything under 335 is going to be an hourly lower high. Right now, we're going to be a little bit extended on the 5-minute time frame, which puts us right into the area where we would see a nice zone of reversal. There's that 15-minute oversold or overbought, 5-minute overbought. So this is a nice candidate entry for a short position. We don't see the requirements quite yet for that weakness, but if we are going to see lower high, this is where we need to see it. So looking for more downside. Until we break 335, I will have a bearish lean and expectation of continuation on this trend. SFL on the daily time frame, nice push by the bears. Bulls managed to respond and hold EMA 26, so that is good. Do they have momentum going into the end of the day? Absolutely they do. So this is a perfect example of what that big red hammer looks like. Bearish lean on the day. We get we have a bullish reversal pattern. Does not see any follow through. We peter it out to the very end. Bears pour it on, exhaust themselves, and then bulls manage to get a 5-minute uptrend going into the end of the day. Can they carry this momentum forward? Well, that remains to be seen. Daily time frame, we have a nice higher low formed right now over top of 797. If we can get a green day tomorrow, that will lock in the current low of 1007 as a higher low. And in order to see follow through on that, what we're going to need to do is change some hourly trends. Have we done that yet? No, we haven't. Still looking for hourly trends to the downside. Easily could come up and reject from our EMA 26. And in fact, anything under 1052 is going to be a lower high on the hourly time frame. So still some proving to do by the bulls. They need to get over 1052, start establishing higher lows above our ultimate low, which is today's big drop to 1007. A lot of work to do for the bulls everywhere on these stocks. Look for these hourly trend changes. Look for these signs of convincing bull moves. It's not enough to have a little bit of a bull move. We need to see conclusive action that tells us that trends are changing and we're not just setting lower highs. That's it for today. Have a good one. I'm heading outside and I hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow as well.